Good morning. Thank you, everyone, for coming to the Center of Influence class here at the Forum at eXp Realty. I'm Georgie Stratton. I'm a mentor and coach here at eXp Realty and an associate broker, and I absolutely love being here with eXp. The Forum's just the greatest place to work. I love to mentor, and I also have been an appraiser 28 years, and I like to work on helping people with property valuations, especially when they're trying to meet their appraiser. So I offer a pretty cool service, helping agents meet their appraiser and teaching them how to meet them and what to bring. So here's my number on the screen. Call me anytime, and we are going to get started. So this class is about Center of Influence, and I'm really excited to explain to you guys how putting everybody in a database, collecting all these names and numbers of all your friends and your family, just how important that is to you and how it really is needed. It will change your entire real estate business. So we're here to help you, show you who to put in your database, how to get everything started. All right, so here's the next slide. So our objectives for this class, why is this concept so important? I know most agents I talk to don't use a database. Actually, to tell you the truth, most of my close friends at eXp, because we've been trained by Chuck and Angela for so many years, we do keep a database and manage it. But this is definitely a concept that not everybody has. How to identify which businesses relationships are important to build. In the beginning, I would work on building all relationships. And then I did learn over time. Chuck and Angela taught me some great teachings on really how to manage this well. How to group them. Now, that's an important thing that we're going to teach you today. How often to contact them, how to contact them, and how often to do it. And how to add them to your database. Here at eXp, we use kvCORE, which is a rock star database CRM. It's amazing. But you can happen on any database that you use with your client. In fact, this is good for any industry, not just real estate. But why is this concept so important? 43% of buyers start the buying process online, and 88% of buyers purchase their home with an agent. So people are out there buying houses with agents. They're online looking. It's our job to stay in contact with all of our friends and family so that when they go to buy or sell, or when they have friends going to buy or sell, that they think to call us. That's the entire point of learning how to create a center of influence and then how to manage it and how to keep in touch with them. 73% of buyers interviewed only one agent, which is great. Now, I know many times I'm going up against competition of some really great agents, and you really have to just put all your effort into doing your best. However, this statistic shows us just get in front of your clients, get in front of your buyers and sellers, get in front of anybody, because often, I know this is what I was taught early on, the first one that gets there to show up, I guess 73% of the time gets to be the agent that's hired. This is where I had to really change my thinking. For many years, I had followed up a handful of times, put people in my database, but Christy Jenks really inspired me, and she's really been my motivator and teacher to see, 18 calls it takes to connect with a buyer. So this is just super important to put people in your database, be consistent. This is why we do it, is because it takes so many communications to keep up with our clients. And so we want to create automation within this system. That's what putting them in kvCORE in your database and then following the system to keep up with them will do so much for you. So 84% of buyers now kick off their buying process with a referral. So that is why this is so important. You are wanting all of your friends and family to have your name and phone number on your lips, and they just remember what a great realtor you are because of all the stories that you talk about at parties or when you're with them. And so that when their friends are saying, hey, I'm thinking of buying and I was going to use my cousin, they might be more inclined to say, wow, I know you love your cousin, but it's really complicated to buy right now and you really need a great agent. And I think you should call my friend Georgie Stratton. So that is really the whole goal of the entire class that we're taking here, is just to get to the point where your friends and family and past clients are referring you. 92% of buyers trust referrals from somebody they know. It's just, you're overcoming such a hill. You know, we cold call strangers, we walk up to people we don't know, and you're just in a completely different place when you come into this class and you are, hi, come on in, have a seat. When you just realize that the attitude that people come with when they come with a referral, it just helps, it changes everything. Then all of a sudden it's one friend calling another friend to get helped out. So, but the funny thing is that salespeople aren't asking. What the statistics tell us is that only 29% of people that sell a house call an agent for referrals. So the funny thing is, as agents, we're dying for people to call us all the time. And it's funny how we just miss the beginning steps. Are you a new agent?
I'm pretty new.
Good.
Yeah, and I'm Georgie, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen you on the Power of Women calls.
Oh, aren't those so awesome?
They are. They're good.
Yeah.
They're good. So I joined EXP, I'd say like late March.
Oh, awesome. This year?
This year.
Wow.
This year. So very new, came into real estate in a different way and saw the prospecting class. I was like, I should join this. I'm going to go to the KV4 class right after.
What did you do before this?
So I have another business. So I run a company called Tisha Marie Enterprises, and I do personal branding.
You're the one. Okay, as soon as you said that, I'm like,
yeah.
you're the personal branding girl.
Yeah, so I was doing personal branding. So Angela's called me out on a couple of those calls and said, you talk about your value add. So my value add is personal branding for realtors. And then I went ahead and got my real estate license because I'm like, why the heck not?
Well, why not? I mean, this is such an amazing opportunity, you know?
Yeah.
So what's funny is this Center of Influence class, I think now Angela taught it to me. Uh-huh. So I took this class from Angela 10 years ago.
Oh.
Totally changed my life.
Oh, awesome.
Because what she taught me is to take a database of some sort, put everybody in it, do certain things, and your phone will ring. Yeah. So that's what she really, in fact, after I took her class, they used to joke and tease me. My claim to fame was I took everybody to coffee all the time. Yeah. All my friends. Yeah. So people called and I would just take them to coffee because it was just my way of staying in touch, or I would take them to lunch. But when I wasn't good at this, I would call everybody on their birthday, and I would take everybody out at least one time a year. Yeah. So this is a whole better development of that. Right. But that alone changed everything in my business. Good. So even for EXP agents, recruiting, this is still the exact same tool. You know, you want to put them in there, you want to reach out to them in a friendly and meaningful way. So the whole funny thing is, on my team and what I teach in real estate is we just work hard to be the most smartest, hardest working, best realtor that anybody knows. Mm-hmm. So it's just, you have to keep in touch with these people. And so what we do is, like we tell them in here is, you talk 12 times a year. But when you're talking, you're giving them something. Like you're saying, you're reminding them to change their air filters on a certain time of the year. You're reminding them. And so we don't stay in touch with them by constantly calling my friends and saying, will you send me another lead? Will you send me another lead? In my experience, at this point, they wouldn't be answering my calls at this point.
Yeah.
Years later.
It's touch point. It's just checking in.
And being their friend. I mean, I love these people. That's when Chuck and Angela taught me, this is a relationship business. When you're looking at it as real estate, it just kind of come in from one angle. But when you just think, I'm a nice girl, I like lots of people. So if I'm their best real estate source, they'll use me. And it's just this funny little win-win,
I'm sure, Georgie, you have people on the call too. But that's when I got into real estate, because I had already developed that brand and people already had that trust factor. When I said, hey, I added this to my plate, now I'm a realtor, if you know anyone that and I had people were like, yeah.
Exactly.
I like you already. I know you'll do a great job because you've done a great job for me here. I want to start working with you.
That's so
I
awesome.
have house coming up for listing, my first one in
Yay!
August, and that's a family member, but I have a buyer that's coming in from LA that's like, I love you, I want you. And then I have another gentleman who's like, when I'm ready to sell the house in Los Angeles, that you're the one I want to call and work with. And so
Awesome.
it's like you said, I'm not in the business of I sell real estate. I'm in the business of I'm creating relationships with you and you matter to me.
Yeah.
And that's why I keep in touch. You know?
Well, and then they know to trust you with their real estate
Right.
because they know how much you care. And so how you'll do a great job no matter what. Whereas sometimes there's I meet agents all the time. They've been agents 10, 20 years. Clearly they don't care.
Yeah.
And they handle their business like they don't care. So it's awesome for those of us that do care because you don't have to put a ton of care in to really stick out. You really don't.
And you have to look at it like this too. Like there's a girl that we had a class here. I don't know if you were in that class. Rachel taught it about the
Rachel
happy-
Krill? Oh, I love that class. Yes,
Yeah,
that was an
it
amazing
great.
class.
So it was like a month or so.
I was in there.
ago.
Yeah, I was in
Yeah,
there.
I was in there too. So I brought a friend with me who's a Coldwell Banker.
Mm.
She doesn't like Coldwell Banker. She's like, it's kind of old school. I don't really feel like I get the community. She came in here. She's like, I really like the vibe, but she's going through some transition in her life, and she's a fairly new agent. She's probably been in it for less than a year, but she's looking at that. So I'm just kind of keeping the seat planted and checking in with her. I'm here whenever
Yeah.
you're ready. And so I think that she's already like, she even said leaving that class, she's like, I'm 90% ready to switch.
Awesome.
I just need to get my life in order first, which for her was getting something more stable
Yeah.
financially. But we're
Like a side hustle
yeah,
to support
so
her while
did.
she does
got-
this.
She
That's
got a
good.
full-time job.
I tell people if you need in the beginning, get a side hustle or
Oh,
get a
yeah.
real job.
That's what I said. But I
Totally.
said, when you're ready, we could really rock this out of the park. Like,
Totally.
you and I will work together. She also needs help with branding. So
Awesome.
that's kind of the value add. But she's like, you know, just give me the time. So I look at this too, Georgie. Like, I'm like, you have to trust the timing of your own life. Nobody's gonna.
Oh
push
my
you.
goodness.
If you're not ready to buy or sell a house, nobody's gonna push you. But know I'm there for you when you're ready.
Exactly.
That's it.
What's I tell people? I don't talk anybody into buying or selling a house. Why would I do that? That is their life. You know, they have a big picture of a life and they have a ton of things going on. I have no idea if it's a good time for them to buy or sell.
Yeah.
I can tell them what the market says about their situation so they can make good decisions.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like this so applies like for women like that. And I'm just learning to put realtors in here because I've only used this for buyers and sellers.
Oh, okay.
And so this is a new thing.
You're
So
doing this for KB Core, like putting them into.
well, this whole class is just center of influence. It's like, how do you go after a center of influence?
Ah.
Which there's actually all different ways.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a ton of people that are much more in your face, you know, and they're very successful.
Yeah.
The whole thing is, what I love about real estate is the rip your face off people are successful. The help people and just be super helpful people are successful. You know, in fact, I meet so many people that I don't think are very bright and they not great at their job and they make money. So, you know, so add a little bit of this.
I know.
I laughed when she taught me this, my income went up close to $100,000 a year.
Yay!
Just by managing, you know, and you know what, me and my daughter, so I'm a broker and my daughter's a broker with me on my
Okay.
team.
Okay.
And we laughed. Oh my goodness, this made us such better friends. Because life is busy and we have a lot going on. And we're like, wow, we call everybody on their birthday. We take all our friends to lunch or coffee once a year. We're like, we're much nicer human beings now. Do the center of influence class. Because sometimes you get busy in life and you don't pay enough attention to your friends, you know, or days go by.
Yeah.
So you need to build relationships and stay in contact with your friends. Absolutely. And the whole thing is, it's not going to happen by accident.
No.
So what I thought in the beginning when I was doing this was I was just such a social butterfly. And by just randomly running around all the time being Georgie, that it was all going to bring me business, which it did, but it's just only to a certain level.
Mhm.
So this is what gets you to a level that's different. So identifying which relationships are important to build. So first, I mean, you already have this, but still you make a list of everybody. If they don't have phone number and email, they can't be in your database. Use a memory jogger. So this is like, especially for this woman coming in, what I tell people when they're starting to come with me and they're really young and they're either still in school or they're young as a realtor, this is what they should be doing now.
Yeah.
Because you don't need to be a realtor. I'm going to go back one step. You don't need to be a realtor to do this. So give her a spreadsheet that has like name, phone number, email, whatever you want to put in your database, and a memory jogger like this. And literally you could take 2 or 3 months and be filling out all these people. So that
Yeah.
when you sign up and you come to KV Core, you email KV Core that spreadsheet and they'll just dump it into your KV Core. I mean, you email. Yeah.
Yeah, I have one gal who's finishing school. She has a painting company, so she's ready to sign on under me. And yeah, like I want to invest back in those people because for me that is the value add. Is like I'm going to invest in you to make you successful in this because honestly, Georgie, like real estate, it's not ever going to be my full time.
Yeah.
Like I love what I do so much.
Yeah.
Like tonight I'm getting
Right.
ready to MC an award ceremony.
Oh, how fun! Oh, that's
So I've been
awesome.
practicing, and the winner is like that's what I'm saying.
And the winner
I
is.
know. I mean, I have to say it like 100 times tonight. But that, like, I still love what I do, but I'm like, I like that real estate affords me, like we talked about yesterday on the call, the residual income, the being able to mentor and help other people with it, to help them build their brands. Like, that's really where my heart is.
Yeah.
But I like being able to help clients that are like, I want to work with you specifically. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Like, it's not in my time frame right now.
To go out and.
To be a full-time realtor.
Yeah.
And give everything else.
So this actually is more for your branding business, center of influence. Because that's what I was telling people. It works for anything. I mean, a pool company.
Does.
It doesn't matter what you do. This same whole concept.
Yeah, it is. And I think I shared with you guys, like even on the call, that I'm really trying to align myself with like mortgage loan officers and companies working also with realtors. So I have an opportunity to do solicitor and have some of these mortgage companies sponsor to bring the realtors in, just so I can keep creating the relationship with them.
That's amazing.
So that's more my focus.
Yeah.
You know, and being able to refer and say, hey, I've got this client that needs a house, like I can refer you over here.
Isn't that awesome?
It is. Like that to me was the best. That's why I was like, I'm gonna get my license.
And you know what I tell people all the time, totally off topic, but what I tell people all the time, get a license, especially if you get too many people coming to you and you've got your other gig, you refer them out. 25% of a $10,000 commission, still $2,500.
Yeah.
So there's no lose for it.
I know.
If you end up getting like tons and tons of people, you just find people you trust. Like there's a Spanish speaking girl here that I give deals to if I, you know, and so, yeah. So, you know, it's almost like whichever way, I think you just said this, whichever way God takes it or whichever way it goes, you just follow it. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I look at it too that, well, I can sell my own house. So I've already made my real estate.
Right there, yes.
Class and testing and all that back. So.
And you know what? Just hanging out with the people here, it's worth its weight in gold.
Yeah.
Like with people on the phone calls and Carol Gruber and just everybody. Yeah. It's so fun. Yeah, and then like hanging out with them and learning on the side and doing book clubs together and all those things that make us better. So you need to speak to every person that's in your database or everybody you're thinking, and tell them, you know, would you use me? Would you use me? And, you know, I got really great at this. Was my favorite line in the beginning when I wasn't so comfortable selling myself, but I got this one line and it made me a lot of money, is I would hand everybody 3 business cards and say, would you put these in your wallet? And if anybody you know wants to buy or sell a house, would you give them to them? And I just kept that same line 1,000 times. And I gave out a ton of business cards. But I think all of my friends have 3 business cards in their wallet, or hopefully they're down to 1 or 2 now.
Yeah.
So it's funny, instead of just giving someone a card, it's funny how, you know, you follow all the steps and tell them what you'd like them to do with it. And most people just naturally will go do it. Yeah.
Well, you just remain top of mind.
Top of mind. Yeah. And so this is saying, so your A category is for all the people that are committed to you and they would only use you or refer you. But there's also a B category that at first you're like, well, if they're already saying they're going to use their mother-in-law and they would never use me. So this is telling you, Chuck and Angela taught me, you know, can I put you in my Bs and save you as a backup? I've had several people who had family members that I kept in my Bs and I just kept dripping them. I do them half as much, and the family member got out of real estate. Or they just had to change their mind. So what's funny is when people tell you, yeah, I've got someone that I would use, be careful. And don't give up on them. I mean, just like the 18 times it takes to get a buyer to call you back, it's super important to stay consistent and just don't give up. Don't think anything negative. Be positive they like you. Don't assume anything negative, especially if they're not returning your calls. If they're not returning your calls, that means they're busy. It has nothing to do with you. So this is just like a sample of what I would say to them. Hello, this is Georgie. I'm calling to check in and see how you're doing. I'm excited to share the fact that I'm now in real estate and I'm on an amazing team. I've been on it for a long time. I was thinking I was talking to people that were newer. So I would like to provide value and help you with all your real estate needs. If you were looking for an agent, would you use me? I'd like to stay connected in a meaningful way so that if you come across somebody that's looking to buy or house, sell a house, you'll think of me. It isn't that easy. You just make that call over and over and over, and you have to just jump in with both feet. Fear of perfectionism is what perfectionism is what keeps most realtors from working hard. We're women, well, we're not all women, but tons of us are women, and we just want to do things perfect. Yes, the men want to do things perfect as well. And so often, like on flyers and on door knocking and even on center of influence or on phone calls, we're almost so terrified that we're not going to do it right that we don't do it at all. So just let all that go. If you say these scripts over and over and over, it will get easier over time. So if they say yes, now you start asking them their pets' names, kids' names, phone numbers, email, social media information, birthdays, and set up reminders for their birthdays and anniversaries. I do house anniversary. I don't do wedding anniversary, but on the bright side, you get to do it however you'd like. So how do you group them? Well, here at EXP, we use KV Core. You guys can use any database that you have. So based on these conversations, you'll group them into lists. A's are past clients or people that have said they would definitely use you or refer you. And for those that say that they already have an A, but they would keep you as a B, or they would send you as a backup, you put them in your B category. And within your database activity level, I know different databases are different, but with KV Core, you have active lead, prospect. And so you just put them in the right category once you get them in there. And then the amazing thing about KV Core is utilizing hashtags. You can put hashtag dog under all your, or hashtag pets, hashtag dog, hashtag children, hashtag swimming, hashtag fishing, whatever. And you can put as many hashtags under people as you'd like. I think there's actually a limit, but you can put quite a few. And that way, when you want to send something out to everybody that has a dog, say you see something super adorable, you can just send out a cute thing, and now you're communicating with everybody that has that hashtag. You can put all types of hashtags, what they do for employment, age groups. You could break them out however they want. You should be reaching out to your A's like 10 to 12 times a year, corresponding by text, mail, phone, and email. Me and my clients text a lot. It's my favorite form of communication, so I text them a lot, which gets them to text me back a lot. And I also alternate. So I mix all of these in, and I never do the same thing over and over. For me, I'm trying to randomly email, text, phone calls. You should be reaching out to your B's 5 to 6 times a year, same type of correspondence. Many of these communications will be just to provide value or to check in. Just call and say, hey, how you doing? I was checking on you. Or call and tell them it's April and it's a really great time to get your AC serviced before it gets hot. When you call and that's what you're calling for, they will answer your phone. In my opinion, if you're calling and you're constantly bugging them to send you a deal, at some point they would hide from your phone calls, or maybe not. Maybe they would be fine with that. This is just the style that we take. So your goals when you're contacting your center of influence are build your relationship, build confidence in you, often like providing market reports with very current information, especially right now. Everybody's dying to know what's going on in the real estate market. So educate yourself, get smart, and then start teaching it to everybody. And it will really help to build their confidence in you. Condition them to refer you or use you. I was just saying a second ago, I've taught everybody in my life has 3 of my business cards. So I just hand them 3 business cards, ask them to stick it in their wallet, and ask them to give it out. And you just have to constantly remind them. I have business cards of some of my friends, and every once in a while they see me and they remind me to refer them out. So just be bold, be brave. That's what you do. Being a secret agent's not going to help you at all. So you just got to get brave and own it. But teach them to consider you a valuable resource. You don't want to teach them that you're a taker and that all you want from them is their business. Phone calls. I know we're always trying to figure out, how do you get a hold of somebody, or why do you what good excuses do you have for calling them? I call everybody on their birthday. It really changed my entire life about 8 years ago, is birthday calls. I know one of my last birthday calls I made to an old friend I've known forever. And she answered the phone. It was probably 4 p.m. And I was the first person to tell her happy birthday that day. And, she's got kids and a husband, but they'd run out the door quickly. And we had this great call. And then she invited me over and we hung out together, and she invited some other friends. So, you think you're going to bother them. You're never going to bother anybody on their birthday when you're calling to tell them happy birthday and how much you think of them. But really, you just never know where these are going to go to. And this is exactly the whole point. You want these organic get-togethers that make them think of you. Periodical phone calls. People need their AC serviced in the spring. There's all kinds of things that you can offer them of service. And especially like when interest rates are low. Right now, in my opinion, there's been a little dip in the market. So it's a little bit softer than it was last month. At least that's what it appears to me. So I'm texting a message to all of my buyers and sending fairly constant communications just to let them know I see a little softening. I know you guys have all been waiting for a while now to, everybody's waiting for the big drop, which I believe and most of us believe is not going to happen. But just to let them know it's a drop less competitive right now than it was, I think, about a month ago. Holiday calls. We love to call people on different holidays. And if somebody's all into St. Patrick's Day, call them on St. Patrick's Day. Business calls. We do business calls in a minute, and I have a script for that on how to communicate with them. So sometimes you're just calling to remind them that you're a realtor and hoping they would refer you. If you're doing all these other calls, that call is natural and okay. It's only uncomfortable when that's the only call you ever make to them is asking them for something. And then personal calls. This is another thing Chuck and Angela really encouraged a couple years ago, was just becoming friends with your clients and your center of influence on social media so you can keep in touch with them. And, you see them have a baby in their family. It's a perfect excuse to call and congratulate them on being a new grandparent. Or they get a new puppy, you can call them to congratulate them. So really, you can use social media as a great excuse to call, and really nothing like a few-minute phone call to really build a relationship. So much more than a text message and an email. And really remember to ask them about them. This call's not all about you. In my experience, I guarantee, maybe I shouldn't guarantee because things can go all different ways. When I call people and talk about them, they always ask me how I'm doing. They always ask me how my business is doing. So just like we were talking before, just kind of trust the call, trust the way things go. Know that if you're doing the right thing, it's going to work out. When should you call your sphere and checking in and asking for business? And say, are you looking to buy and sell? That's probably the easiest thing for me to say. Are you looking to buy or sell, or do you know anybody that's looking to buy or sell? You just have to get that line down pat so that it comes out of you super easy. Sometimes I help remind them, be specific and help them remember, like, do you have any neighbors or church friends or anybody from your volleyball team? Sometimes that'll help trigger, but don't just call for a referral. Call to give them something or offer value. And then you can talk about referrals. And that is how they come. That's how everything changes. So here's just some example scripts. And if anybody wants me to email this to them and they want to have the scripts or the memory jogger, just let me know. But hi, are you taking it? Awesome.
I'm going to go to the KV core class.
Awesome.
But yes, I would love it. I'd love the information.
Yes. I'm so excited you came. I'm so excited to see you on the calls. And I was going to tell you, for coming today, you should let me, I will. So, I've been an appraiser 28 years.
Oh.
And I own an appraisal company.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So I'll help you with, want me to help you figure out how high you can make that price.
Yeah.
Text me. I'll look it up for you.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Do you have, I know you have a card.
I do have a
I will
card.
take one of your cards.
Yeah. So call me. And
Yeah.
I can absolutely, because it's higher than anyone thinks. I mean, we've had houses that we thought at first were $450 and then we're like, $495. And next thing you know, it sells for $550.
I'm going to ask you about that because I have that house in Tempe.
Exactly. Oh, and I've lived in Tempe for 30 years. So.
Flintock and Southern.
Oh, close to where I live. Perfect.
Thanks, Jordan.
Great to see you. Thanks, you too. All right. Okay, so here's like an example script call. Hi, this is Georgie. Do you have a minute? I was just checking in to see if you know anyone looking to buy or sell. In today's crazy market, we love helping our clients understand their choices. There's just so much misinformation, and all of my friends and almost everybody I bump into is just dying to hear what I think about the market. So I know that this is really a time when we can get people to talk about real estate super easy because everybody's dying to know what's going on. And make sure and stay on top of things. If you want people to come to you and ask you about the market, you need to keep reading so that when they come to you, ask you about the market, you've got lots of great things to say. Let them know if you have someone that needs help. Would you mind if I give them a call? When you make this type of call, get to the purpose first. I think when you're making this type of a call, you just call and say hi and get started about business. I try to make it very clear, and then kind of over time, my clients get to feel the rhythm. Sometimes I'm calling about business, not very often. Often I'm calling about everything but business, but I do call them to ask them to send me business. Here's a script of a voicemail. And this is super important to say it this way. This is another thing Chuck and Angela taught me about not asking somebody call me back. It doesn't leave a good taste in their mouth when they don't call you back, and it creates a definite barrier. So super important for voicemails. Hi, it's Georgie. I'm so sorry I missed you. I was calling to see how you're doing. I know how busy you are. You can call me back if you have a chance. That's the important place. You can call me back if you have a chance. You just don't want to say, please call me back, because then when they don't call you back, there's always this uncomfortableness between you. So that's the important line. You can call me back if you have a chance. My number is 480-695-6565. Say it twice, slowly. I can't tell you how many people leave me a voicemail and I don't get one of the numbers, or I can't clearly understand. Sometimes phones make those little bleeps in the middle. So if you say it twice and you say it slowly, they will definitely get your phone number. But I understand if you can't get back to me. That's the important part. I understand if you can't get back to me. I'll give you a call back next Monday afternoon. Thank you. So that is super important, that you always leave an email without a demand to call you back, because then if they don't call you back, it ends up becoming an issue. Now we're going to talk about emailing, because email is one of the many ways that you get a hold of your clients or your database. So what is the purpose of emailing? What do we email them? The importance of the subject line. We all know how that makes all the difference in the world about whether we open it or whether we don't open it. Using emails as a reason to call. So same thing, you can send them an important email and then call. I mean, even on our team, we do that. I do that with my friends when I email them something. Then I call them and say, hey, I just wanted to let you know, I know not everybody checks their email every day. Now you've gotten to speak to them as well, which is even a more close form of communication. So in my opinion, I would always rather talk to them. Well, I wouldn't rather, because sometimes I'm busy, but I believe it helps to build the relationship to talk to them over all of these other sources. Some of my clients are huge in email. They don't want to answer their phone, but they will get right back to you by email. So that is why it's important to incorporate all forms of communication and to pay attention to what your client likes. So that if your client does nothing but text messages, you can change and text them often. If you realize I have a new client right now who loves the email. So I have now emailed her a lot more than I typically would. Now, social media, gosh, this is just such an explosive part of real estate. And, for those of you that are newer into real estate, it's just so amazing that you can market yourself for free. I mean, for so many years, we paid for flyers and we paid for all types of marketing. And now with social media, it's just so amazing to have all this at your fingertips, to be able to reach such a broad area of people. It's just really, it's a huge gift for us now in real estate. It really helps agents save money on marketing, I believe. It helps you keep a pulse on your clients. It's a reason to call. Like I said, it's just very thoughtful if somebody has a baby to call and ask them how it went, and ask them. Most people are excited when you call to talk about them. They might not be excited when you call to talk about yourself, but if you're calling to talk about them, they love it. And then be careful what you post. I say this all the time. So I have a couple friends who are realtors who do a lot of posting, and they post, I don't know if it's so much political, but it's definitely opinion. And by what they're posting, I joke, because I guarantee they're offending half the world. And it kind of really doesn't matter which half of the world you're offending, but just realize if you are either being political or super opinionated about a lot of things in your city or in your town, you're probably turning off half the people. So as a human being, you have the rights to say anything you want. Well, not really, but you have the rights to say a ton of what you would want to come out of your mouth. In order to not offend your clients, you probably need to say half of what you're thinking, or maybe even less than that, depending on how you're thinking. So I think just as important as being on social media, it's important to be encouraging, be smart, teach people things, be helpful. It's just not a great, so many people are fighting on social media. I think as real estate agents, it's a really important cliff for us to stay away from. Snail mail, I went to Rachel Krill's class the other day, which she is totally amazing. If you have ever seen her, been on Rachel's class, oh my goodness, it was just it was about being happy, and then buckets of business, but it was really an amazing class. And she said that she's gotten in the habit of sending a letter every morning. And so I think people have lost the value of snail mail. I just know when somebody passed away in my family and I received a really sweet card from one of my friends that, she was a friend, but maybe not the closest of my friends. But boy, by the end of that, she, it just really created a bond between us. And I called her and thanked her, and birthday cards, the anniversary of your home purchase, thank you notes, or even just you're sending them a card because of something you saw on Facebook. I think this is definitely coming back. And you know what? Some people have been great about using it always. But I do think it's really funny how many young people have never even mailed a letter. Just seems to be a big change in our society. But I think it's a great mix for your center of influence to mix this in with texting and email and personal visits as well. So personal visits. I definitely believe in personal visits. I know during coronavirus, when the world was kind of crazy and closed down, I went to a wholesaler and bought a boatload of vegetables and went and delivered them to a ton of my clients, went and delivered baskets of vegetables and just left them on their doorstep and like ding dong ditch and called them to let them know what I did. And it was great. I mean, I got so many encouraging responses and text messages. I know I deliver chocolates or candy or cakes to my clients at Christmas. I often call them before I come, just so they're expecting me. You don't want to, in Arizona, or even though it's not hot at Christmas, you still don't want to leave a cake outside somebody's doorstep when you don't know if they're on vacation. So I really think it's a great reason to communicate before you go. But who should you visit and how often should you visit them? The reason for the visit, what will you invite them to? And using the visit as a reason to call. So like I said, you want to call before you get there. So that's a perfect reason. Often after I deliver my gift, my clients call me to thank me and talk to me, and I call them to talk to them about it. So delivering a gift, and they don't have to be super expensive. I mean, sometimes at Christmas, they got killer boxes of chocolates for $15 each. And there's all kinds of things you can do to encourage your clients. So set yourself up for success. So when you get, a lot of people, we have intentions to go do things at work. We have intentions to complete this today and intentions to complete that today. And one thing that I see that keeps us from getting our intentions completed is that we're just not prepared at our desks, or we don't have a great workstation with a great workplace where we have everything we need. So I think in this workstation, just create a cubby and you can put things on the walls, on the sides, have your scripts, printed on walls. It is amazing how often you're in the middle of a conversation, you're trying to talk to somebody and you kind of don't have the next thing coming out of your mouth. And if you have your script right there, you've read it so many times, just a quick glance and you'll have it, you'll be right back on track to what you were trying to say. Have info sheets like on clipboards. Because when you get somebody on the phone or you're talking to them and you're collecting their information for your database, you really hate to forget to ask their email or their phone or their date of birth or their kids' names or their pets' names. So the great thing about having your information sheet right there is that you always remember to collect all the information when you get them on their phone. I think keeping information sheets even in your clipboard in your car, because some of these people you're going to be meeting them out on the road. So Just be organized in the way you collect these people's information. You definitely don't want to go back to them and ask them for it again. So don't write it on scraps of paper. Don't write it on sticky notes. Be organized about how you collect your clients' information and then get them into KV Core as quickly as you can. First, it's smart to get them in there quickly and get things set up. But like I said, you definitely don't want to lose a lead. They are like gold to us. Have note cards, envelopes, and stamps. I've started to collect cards. I have a friend who even makes beautiful cards. So, and I bought a bunch of stamps. And so just have everything you have at need to be successful and to not complete a task because you didn't have what you need. I know I've learned this from Chuck and Angela. I hear them mention it so often. It is such a great idea. Buying little scratchers. They're $1, they're $2. Put them in your cards when you mail your clients. Everybody loves to win. Everybody loves to gamble and to have a chance of winning something. So I really want to encourage everybody to buy scratchers or anything cute. I know that I have a friend who buys forget-me-nots, and they're a plant and it's a seed, and she gets these cute little packages, and on the outside it says, forget-me-not flowers, and she writes in her cards, these are, don't forget about me and make sure and send me referrals. So any item of value that you can put in there, and just be creative. Have a headset, so you have a really great working headset that allows you to communicate well, and people can hear you clearly and you can hear them. And probably one of the most important things of all this is time block, KV Core, time block your center of influence, time block everything that you need to do. This is where life and the world stills our ability to get to the next level, is by not time blocking this. All the things discussed during this class, if you don't time block and do them, they will not make you any money. They will not help you in any way. So how to add people to your database. Okay, so you should be constantly building and weeding out of your database. So if it is somebody that you have not communicated with in years and they've never communicated back with you, you should be weeding them out, because you can only manage staying in good contact with so many people. And if you know people that after years clearly are not communicating with you or referring you anything, you could remove them from your database. As you close deals and prospect, you will grow your center of influence. So as you close deals, your client should definitely be in your database and just get moved over to closed. You can put any prospects that you got into there. As people refer you, it will close. So you are just constantly collecting name, phone number, email, date of birth, and putting these people into your database. If you do it gradually and daily and weekly, it will grow quickly and it will be super solid. It's just hard when you ignore it for 6 months or a year and come back to it and you're trying to catch it up. It's a lot more work. So as you develop relationships with people, with leads, it will grow. You just, every time you meet somebody, you stick them in your KV Core, set them up on a search. This prospecting method should be one of the most important part of your business. Clearly following up with your clients and their database should be a huge part of your business, because you're out there cold calling people you've never met, and you're out there communicating with people that you know just a little bit. So, and over time, statistically, those methods will get you buyers and sellers. If you call enough people that you don't know, you will definitely find a buyer and seller. But if you are mining the database that you have and staying in great contact with them, this is one of the best uses of your time. If you think A time, B time, C time, D time, working in your database, keeping it current, putting people into it, getting your campaign set up, that needs to be your A time up until this is working efficiently. Once it's working efficiently, then you'll be super busy trying to keep up with all your listing appointments and your buyers. And you have to be now referring your buyers to a buyer's agent, because this database can bring you so much. I don't think you ever have to worry about having too many leads come out of your database, because the whole goal in life is to have more leads than you can handle, and sharing them with people on your team and sharing them with other people to get a referral fee or bringing in buyer's agents. So really, this one practice of maintaining a database, maintaining a center of influence, and actually working them constantly is really the only way to elevate your business to the, it's not the only way, that's not true, sorry. I mean, you can use internet leads, you can launch lots of different things. For the average realtor that's not going to spend thousands a month on marketing or purchasing leads, this is free. So that's the beauty of it. I mean, it's not free to buy your clients gifts. It's not free to mail them a card, but those are extremely minimal expenses when you think what Pepsi-Cola uses for a commercial or what Coca-Cola uses. So these are very small amounts of money that we can spend and make a huge impact with our friends and family and the different people we meet out in the world. And this practice will keep us top of mind at all times. Not only will it keep us top of mind where they think about us, it'll keep us top of mind where they really like us, they enjoy their time with us, because we're constantly helping them. We're constantly bringing them value. People love when you bring them value. One of the things that we've done in the past is every year reaching out to clients to tell them what your house is worth. Now, we use HomeBot now and some other services that do it monthly for us. However, just reaching out to an old friend and being like, hey, do you want me to run a CMA and see what your house is worth? Especially, if you know that their kids are getting towards the end of high school and you're not trying to sell them anything. It's one more reason to reach out to somebody. If you start actively thinking about it, and really, probably all of you that are at EXP know this already, the best thing about EXP is the collaboration and the fact that everybody's trying to help everybody else. And so come here and ask people, what are you doing for prospecting? What are you doing for your clients? What are you doing for your clients for Christmas? What are you doing for your clients for Halloween? There are so many cute ideas. I saw a realtor had these cute little door hangers that she was putting over wine bottles. And they were just so cute. And putting on, even during coronavirus or COVID, when people didn't want people coming over the house. Last Halloween, she put a little bottle of wine with this little cute tag on it that just said she wanted them to have a great evening. So share with your friends, share your great ideas, come here to the forum. These are the things that we will all be sharing with each other, because here we want everybody to be successful. That's how we all win, is when everybody wins. Okay, so there's a 10% rule. And I remember when Angela first told me this, I thought, I don't know, man, that seems a little too simplistic. But it's true, definitely. So statistically, if you have an appropriately placed person in your database and you work it effectively, 10% should refer you a deal a year. I don't know. When I first heard that, I was like, I don't know. But it's totally true. I have experienced it myself. I absolutely know this to be true. So that means if you can put 400 people in your database, I think everybody can come up with a database of 400 people, especially within a year. So you got to think that's your friends, your family, your parents' friends and family, the lady at your dry cleaner, the people that groom your dog. Just remember, you have a ton of humans in your life. That's what this database is. You are just finding the people in your life that love you and trust you, and people that you love and you trust. That's what your database is. And then at some point, you're starting to add strangers. You can add somebody that you meet at the grocery store. You can add everyday people that you meet at open houses, people you meet when you're door knocking or flyering neighborhoods. But you should expect, if you have 400 people in your database, you'll get 40 deals a year from your database. That is a great income. Most agents, well, not a ton of agents, but a ton of especially entry-level agents would be blown away with 40 deals a year. And really, all it takes is getting 400 people in your database and communicating with them like this. Not even if you're new enough that you don't have money for stamps and you don't have money for gifts, all of the rest of this is free. So just remember, not having money in the beginning is no excuse for not using your database. if you're not getting a deal from 10% of the people in your database a year, and that either means from them or from a referral from them, you're either not working your database well enough or you need to weed some people out. I know everybody here loves to help everybody else out. If you're working your database and you feel like you're not getting 10%, call me, call Angela. We will definitely help you out because, and I believe and I will send you this PowerPoint because I believe if you will follow these steps and put people in your database, I know from experience, I've never seen anybody do this that didn't have deals come out of it. So just trust the process, trust Chuck and Angela teaching me so many years. I mean, probably every agent that's busy, if you speak to them, they're already doing some form of this. So here's another thing is how much business should come from my center of influence. I mean, I know a lot of agents who get 100% of their business from their center of influence. I've had years when I got most of my business from my center of influence. And I'll kind of explain to you, there's a whole different mindset. And really, as long as we're busy, that's all we really care about. But this is mindset on while you're trying to grow your business, you should get 35 to 40% of your total business from your center of influence. That means if you close 40 deals a year, at least 12 to 13 of them should have come from your center of influence. The rest of your closing should come from your other prospecting methods. This is definitely not your only prospecting method. This is a prospecting method. I think it's one of the most important. I don't know, social media is a big, social media is probably almost as important, but the other methods are social media, open houses, door knocking, literally anything you do to get to know people. Calling, cold calling, warm calling. So just remember, if you have less than 35% of your business coming from your center of influence, you may want to concentrate more hours a week on your database and working your database. If you have more than 35 to 40%, then maybe you aren't prospecting enough from other sources. I've had plenty of times in my life where I had gotten lazy and almost all my leads were coming from my center of influence. And when that's the case, when you're going down your spreadsheet and you're seeing that almost all your work is coming from your center of influence, I mean, that's a compliment. That means you're doing a great job with your center of influence. So you should pat yourself on the back and be super happy about that. But we also want to we also need to grow our business. So in order to grow, you need to do other prospecting methods. Now, this is only true if you're looking to grow your business. So I know some people that do 30 deals a year and they are thrilled to death. They got a husband with a great job and they don't want to do any more work than that. So if that's the case, that's great. If it's not okay, now you need to go out and do some other forms of prospecting because that is one of the ways you build your center of influence. But you should constantly, like if your kids go to a new school, put your kid's teacher in here. There's constantly reasons why you can add someone to your database. So that's it today for my class on how to work your center of influence. I absolutely love helping agents figure this out and figure out how to master their business. So feel free to call me anytime. My name's Georgie Stratton. I have been an agent an appraiser for 28 years and an agent here at EXP. Oh my goodness, I came with Chuck and Angela to EXP about a year and a half ago. It was just the best move I ever made. Boy, if you guys don't work at EXP or you haven't heard about it, you should call somebody. It's just the tools that it gives us and the environment and the attitude. And here at the forum, just being around so many positive people, working hard, I just love it. It's just such an amazing thing. I have started, since the world is kind of complicated with purchase prices and everybody's trying to figure out how to, actually people are waiving appraisal. So sometimes you don't need it, but if you're the buyer's agent or you know a buyer that's waived the appraisal, I have now started to meet with appraisers. So for a fee, I will pull great comps create a really great argument for whatever, or presentation, that's a better word. I'll create a great presentation to meet your appraiser. I will personally go meet him. And I just think it makes a big difference. Appraisers look at things so different than realtors do. The other day I was able to meet an appraiser on a multifamily, which is based on income approach, not sales approach. And if you looked at the comparables, it was really tough to support value just by sales comparables. This was an amazing, amazing duplex that was just to die for. It was quite a unique property. And by talking to the appraiser about the income approach and about how much income my duplex created, as opposed to how much income the triplexes and fourplexes in the area created, it really helped the appraiser to see that the income approach truly supported the value of this house, and the house appraised and we closed. With appraisal waivers, sometimes sellers are like, well, I don't care if it appraises. I guess it depends on how much earnest money they put down, because your buyer can walk away from its earnest money and you could start over again. I know it's so easy to sell things. Sometimes people think it really doesn't matter. But it's really, there is a lot of room for providing great comps, providing a great upgrade sheet, providing a great story. Important things is we don't influence appraisers. We don't bully appraisers. We just create great data, a great package, great upgrade sheet, have a good attitude when you meet them. That's all you can do. So if you need anything like that, if you need help with an appraisal, if you need help working on your center of influence, if you just want to learn a little bit more about me or my team or EXP, feel free to call me. Thank you so much for listening to the class today, and have a great day. Thank you. Bye.